I'm with Jami, the mastermind of the training plan. So a lot of people don't know who you are, and I think that's by choice. You're kind of an international man of mystery. But tell people who you are.
Right. So Jami Tikkanen, so the Finnish last name there. So I'm an osteopath and I'm a coach. I've been working with elite level CrossFit athletes, starting with Mikko back in 2010, and then Annie that same year. So it's been now, this is going to be the 12th year working at that high level.
Nice. So you've been working with Annie since 2010.
Yes.
And we're in Iceland now, which is now pretty much home for you, correct?
Yeah. So this season with Katrin moving back to Iceland and the team moving to Iceland, we just wanted to go all in and just move here for the season and see what we can make happen.
So what has been the success? I mean, obviously you and Annie have a lot of success, but what has been the key to that for you to be together for over 12 years?
Yeah, I think there's been a couple of things. One has been trust and communication from the beginning. We've been very honest with each other. So it's not always, so easy, but we've always been able to work through things, and we've always been able to trust each other, her to do the work, me to do the work, and for us to really be there for each other when we need to. And I think that's been really the essential foundation for long-term relationships with athletes. And the other thing has been her willingness to push me to become a better coach, and my willingness to respond to that challenge so that I can stay relevant for her development. I think those two things have really been the key.
Would you say last year, her coming off, having the baby, was probably the most challenging year for both of you in terms of training?
Yeah, we were kind of laughing afterwards that if you would have seen what happened behind the scenes in the 5 months and the whole year really leading up to the games, that was maybe the year that I was the proudest of myself as a coach, because we were literally putting a little bit of duct tape there, a little chewing gum there, but just always finding a way to make it work, even though we had a lot of limitations and just a lot of variations on what we could do on a day-to-day basis. So that felt like the biggest challenge, but also the biggest success, even though it wasn't the first place, but it was the biggest success because of the comeback and the work that went into it.
Yeah, Annie mentioned that she scaled a lot of workouts during those 9 months leading up to the games, and obviously that's something that you and her both agreed upon. What were the expectations heading into last year's games then? I mean, was a podium was that a goal of yours, or was that just completely surprise?
It's definitely always the goal going into the games. We're always aiming for that podium, but it was also a bit of a dream to be able to get back there. But I would say that as the season went on and I was able to see what Annie was capable of doing, I started to definitely believe more and more that was possible. So I think it started as the dream. Could this be possible to come back to that higher level so quickly? And then it formed quickly into a goal as we did the work.
So this year, Annie comes up to you. She goes, "Hey, I think I want to go team." What's the first thing that crosses your mind?
It's not that I didn't have an inkling of it.
Sure.
So on one hand, she's maybe in the best shape of her life right now. And we've also not been training as hard since Rogue until now we're back in it. So for her to be where she is right now, obviously that's makes me ambitious about what she could accomplish. But I also think that this challenge of being in the team is not only going to be something that is worth fighting for, but it's also going to make her a better athlete. Whether she wants to continue to be an individual athlete, whether she wants to go team or do something else, I think it's actually a great growth opportunity for her regardless. So no, I was actually just excited, and then even more so when I found out, as we talked through who might be in the team, and as we got the team together, I was even more excited about the season.
So you're pretty busy right now. You're coaching a team. You still have BKG. You still have Katrin here. So I mean, how do you juggle all those athletes, all those personalities in a given training day?
Yeah, very carefully. No, it's definitely challenging from a coaching perspective, but it's also very enriching because they have different challenges that they're dealing with and different personalities. So the interactions are constantly changing. So it's very exciting. So that's very good. But of course, it comes with the challenge of people needing attention at the same times, at different times, in different locations. So it does definitely introduce the logistics challenges and just trying to have one eye going this way and the other eye going that way at the same time and still seeing what's going on. So it's not easy, but to be honest, they're all working really hard. They've been super diligent. They're really taking on board. We've been trying a lot of new stuff, especially at the team athletes that we haven't worked with before, and they've all been great. So far, so good.
Yeah. We mentioned BKG being one of your, I guess, athletes that you train. I mean, how can you describe his level of success, his consistency over the last few years?
Yeah, I think BKG is someone who's been flying under the radar forever,
yes.
regardless of whether he's on the podium or not. He's kind of always under the radar. He's really Mr. Consistency. Mm-hmm. And we oftentimes say is that, all workouts matter. So you have to put together this long series of good training days. And he's the master of doing that. I think that's really the key to his success. He's so consistent. He's so committed. He's willing to put in the work. And he never will shy away from doing what's prescribed for him. He's just the hardest worker in the room. Yes, other people work hard as well, but he's able to work hard and consistently. And I think that's, for him, is really the key to his success.
I guess another person that you're training now is also Katrin. Talk about that dynamic. Obviously, you know Katrin, but now actually getting to coach her. I mean, how's that been in terms of just grabbing someone of that talent, and now you have the ability to either improve that or make her better than she's ever been?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've worked with Katrin in the past, not in the sense of coaching her, but she's been training with Annie. And of course, if they're training together, I'm not just going to close my mouth and not say anything if I can help her. But yeah, it is definitely a new challenge. She's a different athlete than Annie is, for example, if we want to draw a comparison. But I think that she has huge potential as an athlete. She's huge talent. She's a hard worker. But she also still has opportunities to grow and improve, even after so many years in sport. Yeah. I think when you're changing coaches, whoever it is, whether someone would change away from me or someone I would start working with, there is always the opportunity as a coach to get the benefit of all the hard work of the team that worked with her before, but then also have a different perspective on training. So it creates that opportunity of, hey, you are already really good, but here's some things that I can see from my angle that could be much better. And we've been just trying to chase those opportunities this whole season.
You mentioned earlier about Annie pushing you to be a better coach as well, and you've obviously been doing it for a while. And what I've noticed that you're a master of many trades. I mean, is that something you've acquired, or you've learned, or she's asked you to do? I mean, obviously, when it comes to PT, for example, I see you're constantly doing body work on these athletes, and you don't see that from many coaches. I mean, how do you just pick up that skill?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with just my natural curiosity. And I studied to be an osteopath and then graduated to be a coach, essentially. So I finished school and just in many ways went to full-time coaching straight away. But I obviously had the skill set of studying osteopathy. I studied Chinese medicine before that. So I had this broad therapeutic background. And I think that helped me to also explore things. I think for me, from my past, doing martial arts and kind of looking up to people like Bruce Lee, people who looked around in different styles, tried to pick up the best things and bring them together into one thing. That's kind of always inspired me as a philosophy. So I think what happened is that Annie had I was at a certain level, and then Annie would present me with a challenge, or Björgvin would present me with a challenge. They had an issue that they need fixing, or we need to find a way to get them the next level of performance. That led me to study something. And then I brought it back to them. Okay, we had success. Now there's the next thing. So it was really this kind of escalation of, hey, a challenge, solution. And we just been on that road for 12 years now. So I guess that leads to a certain skill set at the end.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing I've also noticed is that you're embracing of technology. Obviously, in any sport, there's analytics involved, and the numbers behind the actual performance. And it seems like you've embraced that as well. Has that also been something that it's been difficult to pick up, or something that you found easy and it's a great training method or training a way to keep your athletes at peak optimal levels?
Yeah, I think it's kind of, there's a risk as a coach to kind of fall into that type 1 thinking of where you just rely on heuristics and how you think things are. So I think it's really important to have some objective data to be able to slow down and see, wait, was that actually like that? And for example, today we were looking at the workout and talked about that with Annie and Katrin. And I was pointing out that, the transition from, dumbbell snatch to the wall walk to dumbbell snatch is the slowest transition. They were like, no, that's... And then I showed them the data. It's like, that actually is where people lose time. So it's both in competitions and training. I think it's important to have, if you want to create, again, trust with the athletes and create a narrative that they can buy into, I think it is important to have some hard data and not just rely on your instincts, because you could be wrong. And I think that's really the underlying foundation of relying on technology with some things, is not to assume that you're right. Assume that you're wrong. You just try to be a little bit less wrong by relying also on data and not just your observation.
Cool. Thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you so much.
Cool.